Season 2, Episode 4. We're here with Amanda Held, which is awesome. We've got some fun stuff to talk about. This is very different. Real quick, I just got to make sure we went live on Facebook. I do this every episode just because it's like, I don't know. There we are.
Oh, there we are. Perfect.
All right, thanks for joining me here. We're, like I said, Season 2, Episode 4. We're going to talk about some new fun stuff here in Toledo. We're live over at Ernest Brew Works. Don't forget, you can go to my Facebook, click on the Threadless link. You can get all the merch, the T-shirts, the beach towels, whatever, stickers, whatever. All proceeds go to a local charity that you get to vote for at the end of the year here, probably in November or so, when they cut me a check for all that fun stuff. I don't need the money, but the charities do, and I will give it to them. You just get to choose who it is. So yeah, and then like she does some cool stuff too, and she gets to post like a bunch of links to her fun stuff and her websites and all that in the comments of Facebook. That will be posted to public when we're done. So anybody who's seeing this on Facebook, you are my friend and I love you. Other than that, everybody who else is watching on YouTube, go back to Facebook and search, and you can get all those links, which is great. So thanks for joining me here on Episode 4. Like, how you feeling tonight?
Thank you for having me, I think.
You think, huh? You think?
We'll see. I'm a little nervous.
You're a little nervous. So you're very accomplished. I've gone through a few things that you do. You were recommended by another very hardworking female, Chrissy Lee.
Thank you, Chrissy.
Which is awesome. And I love to support that fun stuff. So let's dive right into it. We're going to go into sauce number 1, Delicious. This is a local hot sauce by the Angry Irishman. He's out of Bowling Green. You can catch him, he's down at the farmer's market, probably usually all the time, but I caught him at the last night market, which is happening August 20th, right down here on Erie Street. And I just went ahead and I bought like 6 sauces and a dry rub and a bunch of fun stuff from him, and I think he does a great job. So sauce 1, very timid. Be as liberal as you'd like on a wing. Hope you like wings.
I love wings, and I love dill pickles, so this should be a good start.
Here we go. Oh, I gotta pull up the fun questions that I set aside for you.
That was delicious.
Isn't that right? Mm-hmm. Angry Irishman knocked it out of the park with us.
It's got a Tony Pacos-esque taste to it.
And they're right down the street from us. So are you born, raised Toledo? If so, where'd you go to school? Where'd you grow up?
So the first half of school, I went to White House.
Okay.
Anthony Wayne, and then my junior year we moved to Swanton, so I actually graduated from Swanton High School.
Awesome.
So yeah, and joined the Airforce, active duty right out of high school. So
wow.
Did a little traveling, and came back home in 2005.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So you said Swanton and White House. How was that? Like, I know it's
It was tough.
Yeah?
Well, you know, growing up in White House and Swanton were kind of rivals, right? And so I went to Anthony Wayne my whole career, and then my parents moved my junior year literally across the line, the road line for Anthony Wayne. So I was forced to go to the rival school, you know, and it was tragic. But looking back, it was great because I got to meet a whole new group of friends. So that was really cool.
Sure. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So local Toledo girl here, 100%. So that's amazing. We're gonna move right on to the next sauce. Another Angry Irishman. This one's Garlipino. Right? So Garlipino, garlic and jalapeno.
Yeah.
Let me give it a good
Two
shake.
of my favorite foods.
I'm currently growing fresh jalapenos in my little tiny humble garden.
How's that going?
Great. I've already gotten 9 off of them, and there's like 4 more growing off of it. So I think this thing's going to produce throughout the season, which is cool because then future guests are going to taste a sauce made by me, right?
How cool is that?
So it's a little loose. It's going to pour very quick. Don't worry about messing up the boards. We'll wash those later.
All right.
So
That's fantastic.
going through and creeping on your profile a little bit. What's Equine Wisdom Institute? Did I say
Equine.
Equine. Okay.
Yep. So Equine Wisdom Institute is the institute that holds the modality that we use at the Hooves program.
Okay.
So I've had some opportunities to train with some amazing horse people and amazing human behaviorists, and I've taken little bits and pieces from everything that I've learned and put it and kind of married them together into the program that is taught. It's called the Equine Wisdom Integration Method.
Wow. And what does that what does that involve? That sounds like
It's
intricate.
deep.
What does that involve?
It's deep. Well, to put it in the most simple form, essentially horses have this natural ability to read our body language, and we say horses reflect the life inside of the human, right? So they will be in our energy, be in our area, and they will see everything within us, and they do that actually through mirror neurons. So it sounds a little woo-woo, but it's actually scientific.
I believe in it. No, 100%. I'll tell you why when you're done.
Okay. And so we basically take their natural survival drive. So if you're a horse in the wild, you want to blend in with all the other horses, because if you're the horse that's standing out, you're the one that's targeted by the wolf, right? So anytime you put them in a space with other herd members, they will start to mirror or kind of blend in with that group. And why that's valuable for humans is sometimes we're stuck in life and we don't know why we're stuck, or we can't really say what's going on. And so the horses really help us really pinpoint the root cause, because sometimes, depression, anxiety, those are symptoms of something deeper. And so what the horses can do is they can reflect back to us what that deeper thing is, and then we can go in and facilitate that and actually get the root out.
Wow, that's deep. So,
it is deep.
Like, where I know this is like true to life is, my first interaction with a horse was, at summer camp, like back in high school or early high school or whatnot. And like, I was freaking out. I have this animal, this beast sitting in front of me that's easily 10 times my weight, right? I'm going to ride this thing for the first time, and I'm freaking out, and I'm scared as hell. This horse senses the fear from me. He's not scared because I'm scared. He's scared because I'm scared because he doesn't know what I'm scared about. He wants to know what I'm scared about. He doesn't think I'm scared of him. He thinks I'm scared of something else, and he thinks that he should be scared as well, right? So I get on this horse. We ride down. It wasn't even 100 feet before this thing throws me off the back of the horse because I am so scared, right?
Yep.
Can't blame that on the horse. It's how in tune it is between the person riding it or the person that's in front of it. Like, so that's where like I know exactly what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
So
So I have a question
Okay.
for you based on that. When you were interacting with the horse and you were scared, did you try to act like you weren't scared?
yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you that it's not actually people being scared that the horses pick up on, but they pick up on the incongruency between how you really feel and how you're showing up. And that's what creates the response.
That anxiety between the two, right?
Yep. And so it's interesting when we have people come out, because sometimes people are terrified of horses.
Sure.
Understandably, because I talk to a lot of people that have had incidents like yours. And so one of the things we coach them on is just to be in your authentic feelings. So if you're scared and you just be scared and you show up scared, the horse will actually be drawn into you instead of away from you.
That's interesting.
But if you show up and you are anxious or you are scared and you're trying to fake that and show up in a certain way, the horses will be repelled by you. And I feel like that's kind of just how humans are as well. We know when people are fake and when they're genuine, right?
Right. So, wow.
I know.
Don't be fake in front of
deep.
horses. They catch that.
They know
They catch
every
that shit.
time. They catch
So-
that shit.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome to know. So, All right, we'll move on to sauce number 3. Oh, this one I just picked up today. I was out shopping for veggies for lunch and all this fun stuff. And I was at Monette's on Secor, and they had a few things I've never seen before. It's a cherry habanero sauce, Chanton, Ohio, probably like you said near Cleveland because of the 440 area code. It's a little loose. It's got a good balance of sweet and heat. I had to taste it first because I didn't want to put something that was going to blow your face off right away.
Appreciate that.
So
We'll get to that later.
yeah, we'll get to that later.
I do feel like I have chicken in my teeth, though.
I do too.
Okay.
I should bring. I don't know. Toothpicks would be appropriate. For us to sit here. Like, so do whatever you got to do. What do you do?
All right.
Lots of cherry in that.
Oh my gosh, that is really sweet.
It's got a nice little heat. I might add that.
Is it a slow heat? I'm not feeling the heat yet.
It is a slow heat.
Yep, it's a little slow heat. That's good. It's really sweet.
We got quite the peanut gallery here tonight. Ernest Brewworks is open because of the baseball game. Just to announce, next week, Ernest Brewworks will be open for Sample the Heat every week. Come on down.
That's true.
Yeah, what do you think? Scott, come on in here.
Am I in?
Here. Let me scoot up. Get in between us.
Rob, you can get
Come on in.
Yeah.
How you
So
doing?
do you want
I was
to?
hoping you were going to bring a horse.
Oh, you know,
That little one that you've been.
Patriot.
Yeah,
I
Patriot,
should have brought Patriot.
We're gonna talk. We're gonna
Yes.
talk
I'll come
about
back.
that.
If-
Talk about that.
That was a great job. You did Patriot. I followed that whole story.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you so much.
So do you want to do this on like a limited edition like guest list, or do you want to just open the doors and have everybody come on down?
Well, let's open it up. Everyone seems to have fun watching this, but I think we'll figure. I know maybe I'm talking too much in front of the camera. But we'll figure out a way so we can get it on these monitors and stuff. We can figure this out.
We can figure it out.
Yeah, and maybe the vocals. I mean, I got some decent amplifiers. We can work stuff out, Rob.
Yeah, I've
There'll be
got a
more of an
speaker. We can put
experience
this in.
with, like recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes,
I don't think anybody's done that since like the early '90s.
I know all those old sitcoms. Great. Okay, I'll leave you alone.
Tell me about hooves.
Yeah, hooves. So stands for Healing of Our Veterans Equine Services.
Yeah, I got an awesome hat
Yeah,
for it.
and I originally founded Hooves in 2009, but in 2011 we became a nonprofit. And our mission is to help veterans transform post-traumatic stress into post-traumatic growth.
Oh, sweet.
Yep, and we put 70 vets through our program a year. We're open from April through October. And we do a monthly retreat. It's 4 days long out at the farm. And we've flown veterans, we service local vets, and then we've flown veterans in from all over the country, Florida, California, Alaska, so.
That's wild. So all over the country, coming right here to Toledo to
Yeah, we rep Toledo.
do a little, I don't know, is the word rehabilitation or just like, I don't know, rebuilding.
Rebuilding, yeah, I think that's good. You know, I think a lot of times people get resiliency and post-traumatic growth confused. They're actually not the same thing. So resiliency is our ability to bounce back after something challenging has happened. And that's kind of unique to us, like a fingerprint. So some people are just naturally more resilient than others based on their DNA, right?
Sure.
But post-traumatic growth is available to anyone and everyone. It's work, right? So we have to go in, we have to do the work, we have to work on our perspective, we have to find some missing pieces to our story. But it's available to anyone that's willing, I say, to show up and do the work.
So do you do that through horses?
We do.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And is it just a little bit of horseback riding, some comfort calming, or is it like a bunch of other stuff involved?
Yeah, that's a great question. One I get a lot, so thank you for asking. And I think what I'd rather do is tell a story, a quick story.
Yeah, no.
That's all right?
Camera's yours.
Yeah, okay. So basically, as I was saying with the mirror neurons and the way that horses reflect the lives inside of the humans, we had a guy, he was forced to come by his wife, which sometimes people show up on ultimatums, you know,
Sure.
it happens. But he was very shut down And, you know, she was kind of at a point where she was like, I don't know what to do with him anymore. He won't respond to me. And so what we do is we put the horses in the arena with the veterans, and then we give them an objective. And so sometimes we have exercises, we build things, we use different props, and they can kind of create. But in this particular instance, I just asked him, I said, I want you to go in the pen with this horse, and I want you to get the horse to follow you. And he went in the pen, and the horse, she just turned her butt and would not engage him. And he was a very large guy, like very muscular, you know, and he went up and he tried to push her in the butt and he tried to pull her, you know, but you're really not making a 2,500 pound animal do anything it doesn't want to do, right?
Right.
And so finally, because he was so incongruent with who he was and how he was showing up, he had kind of the mask, the armor on, he dropped the facade. And then he starts speaking to this horse, you know, and he's like, I don't know what your problem is. Like, I'm just trying to get this done for both of us, and I don't know why you won't cooperate with me. And as he's saying all this to the horse, he stops and he's like, oh my gosh, this is what I do to my wife, right? So it's very introspective. And so the horse will treat you the way that you treat people, or the horse will create in front of you what you are creating in your life,
Right.
so that you can see that and you can make a change to it. And so in that one moment, his life was transformed.
Wow.
Through that realization.
Wow.
And he was able to go back and, you know, be different in his family.
That's impressive. That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, I mean, after doing this work, I don't know that I could ever do anything else.
That's cool. Well,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, that's super successful, and that's just one story. And I'm sure you got like a bunch, as you said, it started in 2009.
Yeah.
Wow. So super cool. Shout out to Hooves. And she'll go back and post it on the Facebook, in the comments and the links. You guys can go back and check it all out. Like, there's a website, all that fun stuff. So
Yeah, and if anyone wants to get a better look inside of our retreat, we actually partnered with Josh Nagel Productions in May, and we filmed our May retreat. And so we have, our trailer is out. We're still in the producing phase of the documentary, but it follows 9 different participants through our retreat, and you get to see their transformation.
Oh, I can't wait to watch this.
So yeah, I will post the link in the comments.
Oh, yes, please do. Like I said, the Facebook stuff doesn't go public until after we're done, because whatever, Trump did something and I'm not allowed to live stream public. But whatever. So we'll do that, and then she can post it to the YouTube and Twitter and all that fun stuff if she likes. But the Facebook thing will happen later this evening. Let's move on to the next sauce. We're on to number 4.
All right.
Fee's Fusion. This guy's out of Toledo. Eric. Love this guy. Tried to get him down here tonight. He'll be on the show here in a couple weeks. He makes sauce out of apple butter, and he's down at the farmer's market, just like Angry Irishman. The next, the night market is August 20th. I'll be down there hanging out right after work. You can catch Eric down there with Fee's Fusion. He does a honey mustard, like if you love honey mustard,
Yes.
like he does it out of apple butter. And he just does this cool balance between like hot sauce and a couple other sauces with apple butter. And like I said in the past, I want a spicy breakfast donut with this on it.
Oh man,
so bad.
that sounds amazing. Well, our farm is in Swanton. Our home is in Grand Rapids, and that's, you know, the town of apple butter. So
Yeah.
we have Apple Butter Festival.
Oh, you're gonna get the brown sugar, cinnamon.
Oh man, that's phenomenal.
Right? And then there's heat
Wow.
to back that up.
That's like perfect. Perfect heat, perfect flavor.
He made this one specifically to show it's extra spicy.
I need to take some of that home.
I might just send you with the bottle.
I would
'cause
take it.
He's coming with some new stuff.
That's fantastic.
Riverbend Stables. What's that about?
Oh, boy.
What are you doing over there?
Well, Riverbend Stables is kind of where it all began. And so when I got out of the military in 2003 to stay home. We had 2 kids, and I was like an E3. So
One of them's here.
Yep,
Where'd he go?
I don't know where he
Went to the
went.
bathroom. I think he went to the
I
bathroom.
think he went to the bathroom
Trent,
too.
I think?
Trent, yep.
Yes.
Yep, he's 19 today. Today's his birthday, so he's here with me on his birthday, which
It's amazing. He's
Super
here with
cool.
us on his birthday.
Yeah. So I got out of the military. I moved from Colorado Springs back to Ohio, and I really didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I was newly divorced. I was waitressing, and it was interesting. I was working at Biaggi's in Perrysburg as a waitress, and this guy walked in an Airforce shirt, and he was like, "Oh, hey." I said, "I used to be in the Air Force," and he was like, "Why don't you join the Guard out here, the 180th?" You know, and I'd been out for 2 years, and I was like, "Oh yeah, why don't I join the Guard?" And I went like the next day and joined the Guard at the 180th. And then I was going to school because you get the tuition program. So I was going to Owens, and I was going for business. I thought, oh, I should go for business. And I wrote a business plan to run a horse farm and put it away in the drawer, like whatever, got my degree. And then one day my grandpa said, hey, there's a horse farm for sale in Grand Rapids. You should go look at it. You know, I'm like, okay, Grandpa, I'm a single mom. I've got 2 kids. I'm a waitress. Like,
Busy as
what am I gonna?
AF.
Yeah, like it's a very expensive horse farm. But I went because I'm nosy. And when I pulled in the driveway, it just really felt like it was home. It was crazy, you know. So I thought, well, how can I manage this? So I took my dad to lunch with my business plan, and I was like, you need a retirement investment. And do you know what the quickest way to make $1 million on a horse farm is?
No.
Start with $2 million.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
But yeah, so he said, let's look into it. And 6 weeks later, we were moving in. It was crazy. So that's kind of where it all began. And when I worked with wild Mustangs, and then I started working with like problem horses,
Right.
which it's never the horses, it's always the communication breakdown, right?
Sure.
As long as they know what's expected of them, they will always do the right thing. So I'm doing all this and that, and then I just realized one day that it's self-serving. And I was helping people and I was helping horses, but I really, really wanted to do more. And so I shut down my whole training boarding facility. And, within a couple days, I met a gentleman that does this work, the equine work. And he said, well, I help people, they don't ride the horses, but I help them emotionally, depression, anxiety, so on and so forth. And I was like, that's my purpose. That's my purpose in life. I knew right away. So I was able to go get all the appropriate training. We had just launched the program. And then it was 3 days after Christmas, my dad passed away unexpectedly.
Oh, sorry to hear.
So thank you. It's, again, a post-traumatic growth thing, right? Like what should have crippled me and made me give up and walk away and never come back actually helped me grow stronger. And I can see even though I miss my dad terribly, there were gifts in what he gave me.
Sure.
And gifts in who
So it
is
just
today.
propelled you to do better, right?
It did. And so now the farm we're at is in Swanton on Wilkins Road. So I lost everything. I lost the farm, a bunch of horses, and I was actually like, man, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Especially without my dad. He was my best friend, my business partner. We did everything together. And then I met my husband. And he was like, you have to do this. You can't give up, and I'll help you do it. So, because of him, I started to entertain it again, and we kind of barn hopped for a couple years. Anybody that had an arena, we would haul everything to, use the arena.
Right.
And then in 2018, we got the opportunity to have our own location again, and it is beyond anything I ever could have asked for.
That's super sweet.
There's a really long answer to your short question.
No, that's what I want. I want you to tell your story. I want everybody to hear what you got to offer. So and your hard work. So that's the whole point of this, is just to support what you got.
I appreciate the opportunity.
And that's awesome. So we're gonna move right on to the next one. Another one right out of Bowling Green. Everybody's heard of Stadium Salsa. It's on the shelves everywhere around here. They started right out of Bowling Green. This has a salsa-esque taste to it. We are ramping up the heat quite a bit.
How do you say this?
All right, it tells you on the back. Again, I can't rely on my bifocals because they suck. Xolotl.
Oh boy, I need to see that with my eyes. Xolotl.
Xolotl.
Xolotl. Cool.
From Stadium Salsa. Again, it's got this. It's very heavy in tomato, but it's very heavy in spice as well. So I'm gonna put a bunch on just because it's sitting number 5 and we're halfway through.
I don't
I'm
want
not
to
scared.
say that I feel okay so far because I feel like then I will just jinx myself. But we'll see
You'll be all right.
what this one brings.
It's not horrible. You said you were good with this one.
Yeah, I am good with that one. So we'll see.
You know that's not the regular Tabasco, right?
Yeah, it's the habanero.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's pretty good. Definitely hotter.
It's definitely hotter. I think that doubled up a little bit. I'm not reaching for the milk yet.
Nope, not yet. Maybe on the next one.
We might on the next one. So with the nonprofit and having the stable, do you have a standout memory of anything that you've done that have rehabilitated maybe an animal or a horse or anything? I
Yes.
think we talked about this a little bit before the show. So
Yeah, well, there's lots of instances. Our horses are all rescue horses.
right.
And so there's been many of them. There's one that we don't have anymore, but she was probably the most severe case. She was a little pony, and we named her Poco. I can't remember what her name was before that, but
Right.
just this little Appaloosa pony, and no one could touch her. No one could get near her. If you'd go in a stall, she would just turn and try to strike you. And word on the street is that if you can't handle a horse anymore, you call Amanda. That's kind of my reputation before hooves, is the person that would ride the horses that everybody else was too smart to ride. So we ended up with Poco. They dropped her off and they said, good luck. Like, they were calling her Devil Pony. And again, I just feel like when we're talking about horses or humans, I think one of the biggest things that creates aggressive behavior is being misunderstood.
Sure.
Right? So I treat every person like a clean slate, no matter what they have or haven't done, and I treat every horse that same way as well. And they said, don't ever let her loose because you'll never catch her. So the first thing I did, of course, was took her in the arena and let her loose. And through the communication work that I learned while I was living in Colorado, it only took a couple of hours for her to come around, and she ended up becoming a children's pony. And all the kids at the farm could enjoy her. One of the girls even took her to a show and won first place. So she was probably one of the biggest turnarounds that we had. And then unfortunately she got, after a couple of years, Potomac horse fever and passed away. But she had such a good life while she was with us, and we were so grateful that she had the opportunity to see humans in a good light before she passed.
No, that's awesome. I vaguely remember someone telling me a story about a horse that couldn't walk.
Oh, Patriot, yes. So Patriot was actually born on our farm.
Okay.
So I had his mom, Cookie, and his dad, Valor, and we didn't know that anything was going to be wrong. We just, I wanted a couple mini horses that I could hand raise because they're just different. When
I love mini animals.
Yeah.
It does, I had a mini Jack Russell.
Did you really?
Oh, it was the smartest damn thing I ever had in my
my
life.
gosh,
It
aren't
was
they amazing?
It could talk to you. Like it was amazing.
Yeah.
I love mini goat, like the little baby mini
Yes.
fainting goats and
Yes.
stuff. Love them.
Yes.
So like mini horses, like.
Yeah, they're great, right? So we had a stallion and we had a mare, and all of our other horses were rescues, and I just wanted a couple that we could have that were hand raised, that were really socialized, right? And so I actually had a group of donors out that day, and his mom wasn't due for a couple of weeks, which, you learn all about a condition or something after you experience it, like
Sure.
that you would never know before.
Sure.
So she was still like 3 weeks till she was due. And so I had her in a stall, and I was walking these donors through, and I was like, oh, and here's the mini horse in here. She's going to have a baby any day. And I looked down, and the baby was in there. And he was like...
Well, today I meant.
And like his face looked weird, and his tongue was hanging out, and I thought there's something called a dummy foal, which is when they don't get birthed correctly. So I thought maybe it was a dummy foal, but you know, you don't want to react in front of people that you don't know that are supporting your program, or potentially. So I was just like, oh, today's your lucky day. It was actually Memorial Day that he was born on Memorial Day.
Wow.
And I'm like texting my friend on the side, I'm like, get here now. Something's wrong with the baby. So he was born with some challenges, and you know, a lot of people weren't so nice. They were like, you just need to put him down, and you're cruel for keeping him alive. But you know, I thought, well, I'll give it a shot, and if he's meant to live, he'll live.
Right.
So I bottle fed him, and he grew into his tongue, and he really grew strength, and we're like, cool, he's gonna be okay. Well, then at about 1.5 years old, all of his tendons contracted. Ooh. And so he kind of just went like this, which is something that can happen in horses that have dwarfism. So again, we took him up to Michigan State, and they were like, oh, he has compressed vertebrae. You have to have this surgery, spine surgery. It's like $10,000 a vertebrae. And I'm like, we're not doing that.
Right.
You know, and I kept like sensing like something was wrong with his feet, you know, and they wouldn't even look at his feet. They just were like, nope, it's his spine, that's the end game. So I made the appointment to put him down, and on the Friday before he was to be put down on Monday, I gave him some medicine for inflammation, and the next day he stood up. And I thought, well, if it was neurological or, you know, structural, then that wouldn't have touched it.
Right.
So that tells me it's inflammation. So the vet came Monday, and instead of putting him down, I said, give me full leg x-rays. And then we found it. So there's a bone in their foot that's supposed to be at 45 degrees, and his was at 90. So that at least gave us the answer. There had already been a lot of damage done to his body at that point, and now it was about finding a solution. So there's an equine podiatrist in Southern Ohio, Dr. Johnson, and he, yes.
I only work on horse feet.
So, you know, we had a team, we had body workers, we had vets, we had the equine podiatrist, and it wasn't looking good, but he just like, he never stopped eating. And I told him, I'm like, if you want to go and you want me to put you down, just let me know by stop, you know, that probably sounds crazy. But anyway, that was my rationale. And he never stopped eating, and he just looked at me like I could sense, because I tried to like, am I being selfish? Am I keeping him alive for me? No, I didn't feel like it. I felt like he was telling me.
Right.
And it was a long process. It took about 1 year. So he got these shoes. I call them his Jimmy Choos, because that's about how much they cost.
Jimmy Choos.
High heel shoes.
I want some Jimmy Choos.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, so they had big wedges, and then over time we were able to grade them down, and actually 2 weeks ago he got them off, and he's made a full recovery.
He's just running around.
Running around like you would never even know.
You got a video on your YouTube, right?
I do.
Like of this?
I do. He's about 80 pounds. He's smaller than the dog. And every day around 4 o'clock he comes up to the house for his melon. He loves cantaloupe.
All right.
And so every day at 4 o'clock he comes to the door. He gets to come in the house. He goes to the fridge. He gets fed his cantaloupe, and then he goes back outside. But you know, again, it was another one of those, like, I was getting ridiculed for keeping him alive, and I was torturing him and all this and that, but it was like my heart, like, I got to listen to my heart and not the noise.
Perseverance and paying attention to detail, right? It wasn't just like, oh, this is what he's got, like, peace out.
No.
Like,
And once we figured out the problem, he made steady, significant improvement. You know, he never, once we figured out the problem, he never declined after that. He's been steady up. But
I seen the video, and it was really impressive to watch. I mean, you wouldn't even have thought if they're seeing the video that this horse even had that such of a problem.
You would never know.
Unreal.
Yeah.
So, well, congrats
to you. He's a
to
miracle. And you know, one of the interesting things was too is that through the midst of the social media hate that I was getting, Molly, my friend, and she was one of the ones doing body work on him. She does all kinds of equine body work that's amazing, you know, and she somebody was, I don't like argue with Facebook comments, so I just let them fly.
Yeah.
But she got on, and she was like, I want you to think about all the veterans who hurt, who have physical pain, and what if we just gave up on them? We don't, right?
We don't.
So Patriot not only recovered, but now he can inspire other people that have a lot of physical challenges to get back to health as well.
And that's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful, and another way to think
Can you
about
tell
things.
I'm trying to stall?
Stop. We're just breaking the halfway point. We're doing the Tabasco Habanero.
I'm not scared yet, but
You've said you've had this.
guacamole from hell is scaring me.
Oh, this one?
Yeah,
It tastes good.
thanks.
It tastes real good. So we're stepping into bottle 6. I brought back Tabasco Habanero. I didn't bring Tabasco Scorpion,
Thanks. That's the one I can't handle.
mostly because I left it at work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, God. That's the one that got me.
But I think these are far better than regular Tabasco. Like, they shouldn't even make regular Tabasco.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Sure, it's a heavy vinegar. Sure, it's extra spice. But the flavor behind it is so much better.
It's good flavor. Slow heat.
So, it's been quite stormy the last couple of weeks. I hear you've had quite the natural disaster in the backyard.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, straight line wind. Yep.
So was it wind or was it like lightning?
It was straight line wind.
Yeah?
So
Collapsed 2 trees? 3 trees?
6.
6 trees.
Yeah. 80 to 100 foot oaks. They are now the fence line. So we were actually all getting ready to go out to dinner. I was holding an EWIM training, so I just certified 7 people in the method, and they were all there for the on-site training, and we'd wrapped up for the day, and we were going to local time for dinner, and I was actually upstairs, and like 10 minutes before we were in the pool. Like, it was a beautiful day. And then we saw dark clouds, and I heard screaming. I thought somebody was saying tornado. So I run downstairs, and the first tree fell. Like, the horses have a little shelter out front.
Right.
And the first tree fell next to it. So everybody that was outside was running to get the horses locked out in the pasture, because there's no trees in the pasture. And no sooner did we get those horses out, the second tree came down on the shelter,
Oh, no kidding.
crushed that.
That was
and
the
then-
next question, is how did that affect, like, anything you had going on animal-wise at your house?
Well, thankfully all the animals are safe, but then all 6 trees like fell on the fence line, so they are now the fence. So we're hoping the insurance would cover it, but they don't cover down trees and fence.
Isn't that an act of God with insurances?
I won't say anything.
Okay.
Like,
Enough said.
yeah, but yeah, so they're all still sitting there. We haven't really decided what we're gonna do about that yet, but it's interesting. I'm just, again, going back to grateful that no one was hurt.
Sure.
Buildings are replaceable, fence replaceable.
Animals were good. Like,
Animals were good, so yeah, it was interesting.
seen a couple
Mother
videos
Nature.
of that, and I was just like, 1 tree, 2 tree. We didn't. I don't know if the video got to like all 6 trees, but like towards the end of that first video, there was like, you're like, this could not be 1 tree. Oh, there it is. There's the second tree. Like, wow. Like,
Yeah.
And it looked like they got hit by lightning. It looked like straight explosions.
Well,
but
here's
they're
the
big trees.
Yeah, they're huge. So we lost, I think, 4 of them over there. Then I didn't even show the other ones. In the courtyard, there was 1 tree that almost looked like lightning hit it. It just got split.
Yeah.
And then my friend Katie, who was there for training, she was like, "Oh, I wouldn't be sad if one fell on my car." And like 5 seconds later, my husband comes around the corner and he's like, "Katie, there's a tree on your car." And it fell the branches fell on the front, so it didn't do any damage.
Who's Katie? I need her to come over to my house and make some wishes.
No, but I was like, be careful what you say, Katie. But
Wow.
yeah, so we lost it. 1 tree hit the corner of the house, of the garage, but it just, not enough damage to file a claim, just some shingles
Blood
and
brother,
gutters.
yeah,
But yeah, again, no one was hurt, so.
Good. Good. Glad to hear. The video I seen was like, it looked like a mini natural disaster in someone's
It
backyard.
was crazy. But, we have probably 100 trees. So I'm just glad it wasn't more, and I'm glad it wasn't any on the house.
Me too. Me too. Otherwise, like, would you be sitting here
Probably not.
eating hot sauce with me? All right, here we go.
All
Sauce
right.
number 7.
Here we go.
We only got 4 more to go. It's green Carolina Reaper, so it's Carolina Reaper that hasn't grown to its full potential, I
Okay,
would say.
that's encouraging.
Because I've got some habaneros in my backyard that are green right now that I want to taste them and see if they're as good as regular. I love habanero flavor.
Yeah,
The heat is intense, but the flavor, I think it's one of the most flavorful peppers on the planet.
absolutely.
But the heat will get you.
Do you have a food dehydrator?
I have a badass air fryer
Oh, nice.
that I do like beef jerky and I can dehydrate
Oh, yeah.
stuff in. So
Yeah, I do. We do jalapenos and we didn't have. Do we have habaneros or serranos? But anyway, I dehydrate them and I put them in bags and then I use them in soups or I grind them.
serranos will grow more like a mini jalapeno.
Yep.
Where
they're-
habaneros will get like kind of
Yep.
like
I
curly.
think 2 years ago we had all 3, but last year we only had the serrano. And
Serranos are hot, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they get kind of crazy. You go from jalapeno, serrano, Thai chili, and then they do a Thai chili hybrid with banana peppers.
Oh, I bet
I
that's
tried to grow this year, and I'm doing everything out of pots because I don't have room to do them in the ground.
Yeah.
So they didn't take
They
off.
didn't make it?
They didn't take off. But I'm doing purple. Have you ever seen a purple bell pepper?
good. No. That's cool.
I'm doing purple bell peppers, and they're about this big right now.
Okay.
So they're doing well. So
Awesome.
here we're stepping into a green Reaper. So not quite as ripe. I wouldn't say quite as hot as what you would think a Reaper would be. This sauce tastes amazing. It is hot.
Here we go.
That tastes so good.
Is this slow heat as well?
It is.
Oh, yep.
You get it now?
Yep.
So, former sergeant of 122nd Fighter Wing. Any crazy memories? Any crazy things you can share with us that just hit the top of the memory?
As far as my service?
Yeah, anything. Being
Or-
there, doing what?
Yeah, I've had
Anything outstanding, or maybe an accolade that we don't know about.
well, I did get to jump out of an airplane with the Army Golden Knights once
All right.
in Yuma, Arizona. That was pretty crazy. So my job right now, I'm at the 127th Fighter Wing, and I'm the medical group first sergeant. So
And where's that at?
it's in Selfridge by Chesterfield, Michigan.
Okay.
So it's 2 hours north. Well, an hour and a half from here. But before that, my job was admin. So I've always been in a support role, and it's been interesting because it's aligned so well with what I do in my personal life.
Right.
It's just I love to take care of people, and so my first assignment was with the combat control pararescue guys in San Antonio, Texas, and I got to take care of them. And so when you take care of people, I learned that you get to do really cool things sometimes.
For sure. For sure.
And then when I was at the 180th, I was admin for the pilots.
180th, for people that don't know, that's what I'm sporting here. This was the Toledo Mud Hens 180th tribute jersey. I had to reach out to some people. Thank you, Josh Wagon, for the hat to come off the base. But I had to wear this for you. So
Thank you.
You were with
Yeah.
the 180th as well.
I was, and sometimes you get what's called an incentive flight. So we were in Florida for an exercise, and I got selected for my incentive flight. We have a training jet. So I got to fly an F-16 for about a half an hour.
So you got to fly the F-16.
I did.
Literally.
Yeah, it was.
Did you do anything cool, or were you just holding on
Oh,
bare
no.
knuckle
I
Holy
gotta
shit.
be crazy. So we're flying, and well, it was funny because you know, all the pilots were like teasing me all day. They're like, I'm gonna be your pilot for your ride, and
Right.
you know, I'm gonna make you puke, and you know, they want to harass you, right?
Put you through the G's.
Yeah, so I actually got a pilot that day that was stationed down there, so I didn't know him. So he was really nice to me. And he took me in the classroom and he was like, you know, this is your once in a lifetime, like, you know, I want this to be whatever you want it to be. And I was like, cool, do the most badass things you can do. And so he pulled 4 Gs, he did an unrestricted climb, and he pulled 4 Gs on the climb.
Wow.
Well, they have this thing called G-lock, right? So when you accelerate, you have to exhale. If you're inhaling, you get G-lock. Well, I didn't know he was going to do an unrestricted climb, and I didn't know we were going to pull Gs on takeoff, and so I got G-lock, so I lost like color vision, and then it got like sparkly, and then it was like whoop, tunnel vision, and then I couldn't see.
And then you fainted pretty much.
And then
right?
I didn't pass out, but like when he let off the throttle, then it was like everything came back, you know. And then so we're flying, and he lets me take over controls, you know, and I'm like barrel roll, barrel roll, barrel roll, barrel roll.
This is easy compared to whatever you just put me through. Like, we'll barrel roll all
I
day.
was just like, this guy has to be so annoyed with me. I just wanted to do barrel rolls. So I did like 4 barrel rolls, and then, you know, I was flying in the plane or the jet. Like, once you get to a certain elevation, if you go lower than that, it automatically. So I got us too low, and it took back over and put us back up, and then
That's wild.
we were like cruising the beach in Panama City. It was pretty incredible. But then I'm like, you know, like if I want to do cool, I don't know how to do cool stuff. Like I did the only thing I could do, a barrel roll.
Barrel
And
rolls.
so
Which is cool.
I was
can't do a
like,
barrel roll.
I'm gonna have you take back over, sir, if you don't mind, you know. And so we're just cruising, and then I was like, okay, no offense, but do you think you could kick it up a notch, you know? And he's like, what do you want me to do? And I was like, do the most dangerous thing you know how to do. So he did this like serpent move. So he like went up, and then we were upside down, and then he flipped, and then he went up again. It was nuts. It was really cool. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it was great. Fortunately, at that point in my life, I was too old to become a pilot, because I think after that day, I would have just quit everything and tried to be a pilot.
Sure.
It was quite amazing, but you know, God has other plans for me apparently.
That's badass.
But I didn't get sick. It was pretty intense. So those are probably the 2 most
Crazy.
notable things.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, glad. Thanks for serving the country. Like, we really appreciate that. I'm sure everybody really appreciates that. And
Well, it's an honor to serve.
that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. All right.
Here we go. Guacamole from how it didn't kill me, so.
It's my honor to serve. You sauce number 8.
I'm saving the tiniest wing for last. We'll go on this one.
The bomb. This is what everybody watches for.
All right. Well,
Have you watched Hot Ones before?
yes.
All right. So you're familiar with this sauce.
Briefly, yes.
Kinda.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm scared. I might have to take a drink on this one. Oh, that's a lot. No pressure. No
That's
pressure.
the least I've put on this season. I didn't want you to feel like I was like trying to outdo you. So.
Hey, you can outdo me. I have no pride. Okay, that's a pretty big amount for me. Let me just spread this out a little bit.
Yeah, spread it out.
Oh, I'm scared.
Well, you saved a lot of chicken to like. So
Yeah.
That's a good thing. And again, we've got the lifeline. So. All right, here we go. Trent, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Are you
Don't
kidding
beat me
me?
up.
He's probably enjoying every second of this. That's hot as shit.
He's about to. There's nothing good about this sauce.
No, it's not good.
It don't taste
Why
good.
do people do this? Like on purpose?
I think it's made just for shit like this.
I think it is. I mean, obviously it sells. I'm leaving body a little bit. Okay.
So,
All right, I'm drinking.
yeah. aside from the amazing work you do with horses, any hobbies that kind of take you away from the hard work that you do that allow you to hit that reset button?
Yeah, actually.
What do you like personally like to do aside from work?
I don't know if I can talk. I just need a minute.
Yeah, take your time. I'm right here with you. Like, it's that under the tongue, whole mouth, like bottom lip feels swole type thing going on, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the event I have to vomit.
Just let me know. I will get out of your way. The bathroom's right there. No one's done that yet. I talked to him a lot when I'm doing the drives. We're good.
I was really liberal with that.
You put on as much as I did, for sure. You just put it all in one spot. Oh, that's the worst as it gets. Those are hotter, but this blows your palate out so much. Like, you won't even taste the next two. You won't be as liberal with the next two, for sure.
Cycling.
Yes. So I find carbonation makes it worse. The milk will,
Yeah, it's definitely getting worse.
the milk will calm it while it's in your mouth. Once the milk disappears, it's just gonna fire back up. But is the nose running yet?
Eyes more than nose.
So he had a fiance. They broke it off after like 6 months, but he was like, I don't even know if he really was ever with her in person. It was just like she was still in Kentucky, he was whatever, in the army and shit. And he starts talking to a different girl from his boarding school.
So,
Hold on.
Yep. Nope.
Brings her out with him.
Take your time.
And for Thanksgiving, this was 2010, COVID, gets married to her December of 2020, like a month after he got married in the courthouse, driving from Toledo back
I'm
down
just gonna take another bite of this chicken.
to the courthouse in Kentucky. Seal the deal. My parents were just like, what the fuck? So, there's a way to do things. Whenever you
That's worse than scorpion.
Yeah. And I don't think there's scorpion in it. I think it's like just like habanero and ghost. And I don't know. But it tastes like diesel food mixed with like a burnt cigar. There's nothing good about that.
first time driving, just total dark. And then he bought that car. He bought that key.
I'm gonna try again.
All right.
All right, cycling. So, my husband started doing adventure cycling a couple years ago.
What's adventure cycling? Opposed to regular.
Yeah, so it's like bike packing. So you pack all your stuff on your bike and you ride like hundreds of miles. So he started doing that. He got sober, and that was kind of like his purpose mission after sobriety.
Like, this is going to be my focus. This is what I like to do. I love this. Like,
Yeah.
let me do
Yeah.
this.
And so part of our program, on the fourth day of our program, he came through, because we also do this for spouses and caregivers. And so he came through a retreat, and at the end you have to kind of rewrite your mission and vision for life. And so he decided he wanted to be like an instructor or program director for adventure cycling or bike packing. So he wrote this mission and vision. And like 6 months later, he got a grant from the Lucas County Veterans Service Commission
Oh, how cool.
for $20,000 to launch his program. So, you know, I got him his first bike, I think for his birthday, and he loved that. And then I thought, well, I should get a bike too, because everything he has done for the past 5 years has been for me in support of Hooves and what we're doing at the farm.
Right.
And
so now let's reverse the role.
yeah, so I just bought a bike, and I think I had it for like months before I even really rode it. And, you know, things are stressful post-COVID, you know, donors down, just daily stress, running the organization. And so, you know, I noticed that I really wasn't doing any self-care, gained a bunch of weight through the pandemic, and just was like really kind of feeling it. And one day I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna get on this bicycle that I bought a year ago. I mean, it seems to work for my husband. And took off into the park, and it was just like all the noise stopped. Like I turned my phone off, because normally from the second I wake up I have text messages and work to do and emails to answer.
Sure,
And,
you're running a nonprofit. You got the stable, like
yeah, it's a
the
lot.
Airforce, like the whole thing,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
tu-tu-tu-tu-tu-tu.
It's a lot, and I just was, you know, here I am telling other people self-care, and I'm not doing any self-care, right? Because that's just how it goes. And so I started to make it my morning ritual to go in. We live right outside the